Well, hello there, hello there, hello there. Thank you, Jaconda, for coming on to join me for this riveting version of the Venus Revolution with the Chief Happiness Officer being me and who ain't really that uh, happy right now. We're going to begin with a bit of a praise because I need something to lift my spirits. So we're going to begin this session with one of the most wonderful and voices to ever be placed on planet Earth, Michael McDonald, visiting his alma mater, Berkeley School of Music, where some of the greatest musicians to ever be on this planet have studied and honed their skills. We're going to let him bless us and take it to the streets, okay? Let's go.
What about these guys behind me here? What do you think, huh? It's a great privilege to be here tonight, especially among all these great young musicians, and some of us older ones are around here somewhere too, but a great privilege. And my wish for the graduating class of 2011 is that, and the faculty and all of us old-timers around here, is that when we leave this world, it'll be just a little bit better place for the music that we were privileged to get a chance to make. Thank you.
Yes, Amazing Grace. Yes, yes. Yes, yes. Take us to church and make a joyful noise. Yes.
You don't know me, but I'm your brother. I will raise it in this living time. You don't know my kind in your world. Fairly soon, the time will tell. You telling me things you're gonna do for me. Yeah, no, I'm in line. Online what I think I see. Taking that,
Yes.
Taking it to the street.
taking my brother,
Taking it to the street.
taking my sister,
Taking it to the street.
taking a message to my brother. You will find him everywhere, wherever people live together. Time to Father Jesus back. Oh, you telling me things you're gonna do for me. But I ain't blind and I don't like what I think I see.
Taking it to the street.
Singing it,
Taking it to
We can make it better, better for our children. Yeah. Oh, you tell me things you're gonna do for me. God, I'm in blind and I don't like what I think I see. Take it, God, taking my brother, taking my sister, God, now.
Yes.
You know the man said, he said, I may not get there with you. Children, we got to keep on walking.
Yes.
That's the flame of freedom. We're about to ride any minute. Taking it.
Yes. 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 Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. Taking it to the streets. I don't know. Every time I hear that version of it, I just fill up. I just feel as if the Holy Spirit is present. That takes me back to when I was attending church, because in Black church, we do believe in making a joyful noise. And you will never convince me that Michael McDonald hasn't spent some time in a Pentecostal church, because he plays and sings the doo-doo out of that Doobie Brothers tune, Taking It to the Streets. We will now officially open the doors of the church, and we will have our Black History moment, because I'm Black every day. I'm brilliant every day in these United States of America. And yeah, so we're going to honor a piece of Black history that you may not have heard of, where we lift up Alice H. Parker. Here we go.
What if Thomas Edison, the most famous inventor of the era, tried to steal your groundbreaking idea? Granville Woods faced this very challenge when Thomas Edison attempted to claim his induction telegraph patent.
Oh, we do.
In a surprising twist, Woods successfully defended his invention against the Titan not once but twice. Recognizing Woods' talent, Edison offered him a lucrative job, but Woods refused. He chose independence and opened the Woods Electric Company in New York City with profits from another patent he sold to Alexander Graham Bell. He continued to innovate, earning over 50 patents and leaving an indelible mark on the transportation and communication industries. Ironically, he would be known as the Black Edison. Let his story remind you to believe in yourself and fight for your dreams, no matter who stands in your way. Smoke billowed from the tent as onlookers gasped in horror. Suddenly, a figure emerged unscathed, Garrett Morgan, a Black inventor disguised as Big Chief Mason, demonstrating his life-saving safety hood. In the early 1900s, when racial prejudice threatened to derail his groundbreaking invention, Morgan devised a clever marketing strategy to captivate audiences and break down barriers. His safety hood, a precursor to the gas mask, promised protection against toxic fumes, but it was Morgan's dramatic demonstrations that truly sold the idea. The ultimate test came in 1916 during a catastrophic explosion in a tunnel beneath Lake Erie. With workers trapped and lives at stake, Morgan and his brother donned the safety hoods and descended into the toxic chaos, emerging with survivors and proving the device's effectiveness. Morgan's heroism earned him national acclaim, but revealing his race led to a decline in sales. Despite this, his safety hood evolved into the gas masks used in World War I. Garrett Morgan proves innovation and courage can overcome obstacles.
As this administration does all it can to erase Blackness from the nation's history, we continue to be brilliant. We continue to lift up and recognize the brothers and sisters that came before us for their brilliant
In the freezing winters
invention.
of early 20th century New Jersey, one visionary woman dared to dream of a safer, more efficient way to heat homes. Her name was Alice Parker. At a time when most homes relied on dangerous coal or wood-burning fireplaces that posed fire risks and required constant labor, Alice knew there had to be a better way. Inspired by her own struggles to stay warm during harsh winters, Alice designed a revolutionary natural gas-powered furnace that could heat homes evenly and efficiently. In 1919, Alice H. Parker became one of the first Black American women to receive a U.S. patent for her invention, a groundbreaking achievement in an era dominated by white men. Her system used natural gas to distribute warm air through ducts into individual rooms, introducing the concept of zone heating that is still used in modern HVAC systems today. Her contributions are celebrated through awards like the Alice H. Parker Women Leaders and Innovation Award, honoring her as a pioneer in engineering and heating technology. In 1791, Thomas L. Jennings was born free in New York City. As a tailor, Jennings grew dissatisfied with cleaning methods that ruined fabrics. He invented dry scouring, a method to get clothing clean without damage from water soaking the fibers. It was the precursor to modern dry cleaning. In 1821, Jennings became the first African American granted a U.S. patent. Under the Patent Act of 1793, only citizens could apply, making this recognition for a Black man groundbreaking. Jennings married Elizabeth, born into slavery in Delaware. Using his fortune from owning one of the largest clothing stores in New York City, he bought her freedom and ensured their children were born free. Jennings used his wealth to fund abolitionist causes, co-founded the Abyssinian Baptist Church, and supported Freedom's Journal, the first Black-owned newspaper. Thomas L. Jennings proved that ingenuity could shatter barriers. Annie Minerva Turnbull was born on August 9, 1869, in Metropolis, Illinois, to formerly enslaved parents. The 10th of 11 children, she discovered her passion for hairdressing while styling her sister's hair, laying the foundation for her future empire. Orphaned and raised by her older sister, Malone's interest in chemistry blossomed during her high school years in Peoria, Illinois, despite frequent illnesses forcing her to withdraw from classes. By 1900, Malone had formulated her revolutionary Wonderful Hair Grower, addressing the pressing need for gentler hair care products for Black women suffering from hair loss and scalp damage due to harsh straightening techniques. Malone began selling her product door-to-door from the back of a horse-drawn buggy, offering free treatments to attract customers and build trust in her brand. In 1902, she strategically opened her first shop in St. Louis to sell her products to the many tourists expected to visit the 1904 World's Fair. Malone held news conferences and toured southern states to promote her products. She revolutionized the industry as she trained Poro agents, ranging from ages 16 to 80, to sell her products door-to-door and provide free demonstrations. One of Malone's agents was Sarah Breedlove, later known as Madam C.J. Walker, who later started her own competing business. Malone's business acumen shone through her use of press conferences and targeted advertising in Black newspapers, demonstrating her understanding of effective marketing strategies. Malone founded Poro College, the first Black-owned cosmetology school in the nation, providing education and jobs for Black women. By 1920, Malone's empire employed 75,000 agents nationally, creating unprecedented economic opportunities for Black women across the country. Not only did she reach millionaire status, she generously donated the equivalent of $1.5 million to support the Black community, establishing herself as one of the nation's first major Black American philanthropists. Meet Sarah E. Good, a pioneering inventor who became one of the first Black American women to receive a U.S. patent. Born to enslaved parents in 1850, her father was a carpenter. At age 15, Sarah gained her freedom at the end of the Civil War. She moved to Chicago with her family, where she met and married Archibald Good, a carpenter and upholsterer. Together, They opened a furniture store. Sarah and Archibald's furniture store crafted and sold quality pieces catered to working class customers. Witnessing families struggling with limited space in their apartments, Sarah envisioned the solution that would maximize living areas without sacrificing comfort. In 1885, Sarah patented her innovative folding cabinet bed, which transformed from a bed into a roll-top desk. Her invention gained popularity among city residents, solidifying her reputation as an innovator in furniture design. Sarah Good's folding cabinet bed was a precursor to today's Murphy beds, symbolizing her lasting impact on furniture design. Let us remember her as a trailblazer who turned challenges into opportunities. In the heart of the bustling streets of early 20th century Cleveland, a young Garrett Morgan stood amidst the chaos of carriages, automobiles, and pedestrians. Born in Kentucky to parents who had been enslaved, Morgan moved to Cleveland with just a sixth-grade education, driven by an unyielding desire to invent and improve the world around him. One day, he witnessed a horrific accident, a collision between a car and a horse-drawn carriage. This moment sparked an idea that would change traffic safety forever. Morgan envisioned a traffic signal that included a caution light, a revolutionary concept at the time, designed to prevent such accidents by giving drivers time to react. Despite facing racial prejudices that could have stifled his ambitions, Morgan's determination led him to patent this life-saving device. He later sold the rights to General Electric for $40,000. Don't forget to subscribe.
Yes. Yes, yes, yes. Yes, 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 yes. So as this administration is actively attempting to wash Black history from which is American history, from books, from monuments, wherever our Black faces appear, wherever we show up, it's an impossibility. It will not happen. And now every time you see a stoplight, you will know who invented it. When you think about heating your home, you know it's a Black woman who came up with it. When you think about the processing of our hair, which was looked upon as being dreadful, which led to the name dreadlocks. They thought our hair was dreadful. Whenever you think about the electricity and Alexander, all the inventions that were given to Thomas Edison and Alexander Graham Bell came from the mind of a Black man. And while y'all want to call it DEI, I would suggest, and not respectfully, there's a lot of white folks out here, white, entitled, and incompetent, WEI, are themselves the DEI hires. Okay? So thank you so much. Hey, Electra, thank you for coming on and spending a little time with me. Now, you know, it wouldn't be right if we didn't go with our favorite ranter doing a little walk and talk. He calls himself the pissed off bartender. So what we're going to do right now is we're going to get our rant for the day, which is going to lead me into one of the topics that I want to talk about. So we will share the screen. If you haven't subscribed, go over to his channel. He is funny, but absolutely delightful in his delivery of things that we think about every day in these chaotic times. Here we go.
Well, hello there, friends. If you are familiar with my face already, then I feel like you know we are fixing to take one of our little walking talks. And seeing as how we spent the last one catching up on everything I missed while I was away at Gulf Force, well, then that must mean this one's going to be about everything going on this week. But before I get started, and no, this is not paid promotion, I just like taking care of my people, I want to give a shout out to all the good folks over at the Good Life store in Georgia. I know y'all's governor is giving you hell, so I'm trying to give back. They provide all of the products that fuel these flower-powered pontifications, so I just wanted to let y'all know they exist. GetGoodLife.com. Y'all go crazy. Yes, I do have a promo code. It is pissed off. No, I do not receive a commission. It's just something so I can shout them out. All right, cool. I got all that said, and it got us past the 30-second mark, which means I no longer have to censor myself, which is much needed as today's topic requires multiple uses of the word motherfucker. You see, class, as per par for the course, members of MAGA are once again suffering from a problem they spend a whole lot of time screaming about the left partaking in. Somehow, they can't seem to keep their hands off of kids. Minnesota Senator Justin Eichhorn, the exact same sad sack of sorry human excrement who introduced the TDS syndrome bill, arrested on charges of soliciting a minor. Hold up. Wait a minute. Something's wrong here. Why don't I see anywhere in this article where Eichhorn was performing drag? Ah, here we go. One from my home state, Alabama. Tuscaloosa police officer Corey Burcham arrested Monday on possession of CSAM. Wait, hold up a minute. What's wrong with this woke-ass website? It doesn't show anywhere on here where he was about to sign up for bottom surgery. Folks, it sickens me to say what is about to be said, but I can do this shit all day. And you know the one thing that won't show up when I do it? A goddamn drag show. I could sit right here with a list of known predators 9 miles long and not a single one of them would be a trans person. But I'd just be willing to bet with the way things seem to be themed this week, if you turn your TV to Fox News right now, you will see somebody talking about a trans person. But not one of them will. Behind your back. When are you going to recognize that you are being used as nothing more than a weapon to be wound up and pointed down a warpath towards your fellow people? I am begging you to please pay attention and stop letting these motherfuckers in suits spin you up and sell you on the idea of being scared of somebody and something you don't understand. Instead, spend that energy on purging your own ranks of these predators that are out here preying on the children that you scream so loudly about wanting to fucking protect. Or do you not actually care about the kids? Because from where I'm standing, it sure seems like they have become nothing more than a convenient scapegoat for your bigotry. Anyways, that's going to be it for me today. MAGA has a predator problem. Y'all should probably fix that shit before you find yourself opening your motherfucking mouth to me, because I'm going to embarrass you about it. Rest of y'all have you a wonderful motherfucking day. Keep the motherfucking boots out of your motherfucking mouth. And remember that the golden rule will always remain yeehaw fuck the law. I love y'all. I'll see you down the line.
Yeah. That part. Yeah. And that is a perfect segue into a topic that I was going to discuss on our show today. And that is the hypocrisy of MAGA, and especially motherfucking evangelicals. Okay? Let's just do a little. We ain't gonna do no walk and talk. We're gonna go to Occupy Democrats, and I'm going to pull up a report that they posted. If you haven't signed up to Occupy Democrats, do so. Very great channel.
TV. And to that end, you are in a way also with whom you hang around, with whom you consort. And Donald Trump has always said, I know the best people, I have the best people, even though so many people in his first administration, including himself now, are convicted felons, along with the continued list of folks that still kind of trail and have a residual effect of not being such great people. And in this breaking story, you can add one more to the list, and you are not going to believe who it is and what they did. Oh my goodness, I'm going to show you that to you in a few seconds. But take a look at what just got stated, and also be reminded of the fixers that have surrounded Donald Trump because he needs them.
Donald Trump said he only hires the, quote, best people. It started as a line on the campaign trail in June of 2015. Far before he took over the Republican Party, Donald Trump said this.
I know the best people. I know the best managers. I know the best deal makers. I know people that will make us so strong. I know guys that are so good.
It was a line that stuck. It fit within the outsider appeal that carried him to his shocking 2016 win.
Moving up in the world is all about who you know, and it can be argued that nobody understood that more than President Trump. The fixers, the bottom feeders, crooked lawyers, gossip mongers, and porn stars who created the 45th president is a new book detailing the tight circle of associates that propelled Trump to the Oval Office.
But some of those associates were involved in questionable schemes along the way and have paid a heavy price to defend the president. Joining us now is co-author of The Fixers and investigative reporter for the New York Times, Michael Rothfeld, and Joe Palazzolo, who is also a co-author of The Fixers and an investigative reporter with the Wall Street Journal. Good to see you both.
Thank you.
So you guys helped to break the story about the whole Stormy Daniels thing, and that was sort of the seed for this book, right? To let everybody know how it started.
Yes.
Yeah.
So how did Stormy Daniels become that threat? And what did you uncover once you started to pull?
Well, when that reporter has been the case, there always is another skeleton, another closet with a bunch of stuff in it that just pops out and you go, whoopsie poop. Well, in this breaking story, guess what just came down? His so-called former spiritual advisor is on the way to prison. That's correct. The once again self-righteous GOP Bible-thumping right has found themselves, and this time it's one of Donald's boys, doing something that's one of the worst fears a parent could ever have. Here is the story. Breaking news. Robert Morris, former Texas megachurch pastor and Trump advisor, indicted for intimate crimes against children. Robert Morris is a former spiritual advisor to President Donald Trump and Gateway, one of the nation's largest megachurches, has been particularly active in the Dallas area.
Invite you to our summer series, Let's Dive In.
Robert Morris, the Dallas area megachurch pastor who resigned last year amid abuse allegations, has been indicted in Oklahoma for crimes against children of the intimate nature that date back to the 1980s. Morris is a former spiritual advisor to President Donald Trump and Gateway, one of the nation's largest megachurches, has been particularly active in politics. In 2020, Trump held a roundtable on transition to greatness there that was attended by then U.S. Attorney General William Barr and other prominent Republicans. The indictment comes less than a year after Morris resigned from Gateway Church in South Lake after an adult woman, Cindy Clemenshire, said Morris repeatedly intimately assaulted her while she was a child in Oklahoma in the 1980s. Morris was at the time working as a traveling preacher. In a Wednesday text message, Clemenshire said through an attorney that she was grateful for the indictments. In quotes, after almost 43 years, the law has finally caught up with Robert Morris for the horrible crimes he committed against me as a child, she said. Now it is time for the legal system to hold him accountable. My family and I are deeply grateful to the authorities who have worked tirelessly to make this day possible and remain hopeful that justice will ultimately prevail. As Morris's national political spotlight grew, so did his church's local footprint. For years, Morris and Gateway would show slates of local school board candidates on the church's massive screens in the lead up to elections, potentially in violation of federal rules that prohibit overt political activity by churches. In quotes, many of you see what Satan has been trying to do even in our school systems, Morris told some of the church's roughly 25,000 members in 2023 before showing a list of Republican candidates. Few, if any, were more high profile than Morris, who steadily involved himself in state and national politics after founding Gateway in 2000. In 2017, Morris was tapped by Governor Greg Abbott to help support the so-called bathroom bill that sought to ban transgender people from using their preferred bathroom, in part by arguing that it would allow children to be intimately abused. On a personal note, in the words of Alanis Morissette, isn't that ironic? What I struggle with a great deal is Donald Trump has been like this his whole life. He had Roy Cohn. He had Michael Cohen. He's had plenty of people protecting the mob boss for decades of his life, and yet so many Americans continue to think that this guy in some way, number one, has any integrity, number two, remotely cares about you, and number three, has any kind of a spine. He's 0 for 3 in all of those categories, and the bottom line is he's not a good guy. He doesn't hang around or know the best people. He just knows people around him that make him think and tell him that he's the best. Nothing more. False prophet. There's your new hashtag for Donald Trump. You guys stay frosty.
Okay, I'm back. And hey, Deshaun, I just heard about that story because I spoke with a friend of mine in Georgia. And I'm attempting to hold back the tears because I haven't been able to come on because I just haven't been feeling like myself. I've been feeling overwhelmed like so many during this time, as in the words of Steve Bannon, the convicted felon, a man who was convicted of sexabusing, and technically the judge called it rape. And I have to be careful about how I say these things on these lives, because I have been punished or blocked from commenting by using the words coon. For some reason, they find that word to be offensive, and I use that word when I'm referring to those calling themselves Black MAGA. You a bunch of fucking coons, and you will remain that. Okay? I just went on to a YouTube tab, Deshaun, and I'm going to put up your comments. But also, let's see. I'm going to put up your comments because I'll go to that tab and we'll pull up the story. My title says you voted for hate, you voted for racism. The Palestinian children voted to punish VP Harris, even though she had been working diligently with President Biden, calling for a ceasefire. Now, I understand the confusion because we stand with the Zionists, we send them weapons. I understand. But I also thought that by voting her in, there was an opportunity for y'all to get what you wanted for your Palestinian families in Gaza, but you did not. You voted for Jill Stein. Where's her ass? Oh, she only comes up every 4 years when there's a presidential race to be a disruptor. You voted for the convicted felon who came to Dearborn. Thank you, Rashida Tlaib. Your card needs to be snatched from you because you started this bullshit. So that when he came to Dearborn, and I lived in Detroit for a number of years, so I do know about the Dearborn area, and I have to say that Black people weren't fucking welcomed like she wants to act like they were welcome in Dearborn any damn way, but I digress. So you voted for a man who told you what he was going to do. And now he and his son-in-law are prepared to sell plots. I even saw a video where there's a big monument with his name on it, where he plans to build his fabulous dwelling and call it the Riviera of the Middle East. Well, we will see, because I got a feeling that the Iranians and some of the other countries around that situation who are not friendly with Israel might have something to say about this becoming fucking Middle Eastern treasure, the Riviera. And so I'm just telling you, when you come, you can go to a lot of content creators who will put up videos of folks going off on VP Harris, going off on Black people who felt for the people in Gaza. I still send money because I cannot stand to see that a child might be hungry, or that I can't stand to see anything like that. We were sympathetic that we were told to keep your fucking names out of our mouth. But now when you come back, you talk about how all the minorities have to get together. We're in this together. I tell you what, we're sitting this one out. We won't be triggered by the potential pardon of Derek Chauvin. We will not be triggered by all of this of Project 2025 bullshit with whining ass white boys wanting to cry and scream that they can't get jobs because it's going to all the black folks. We won't be triggered by that, and we won't take to the streets because we will not be your fodder to begin a fucking war on the streets so you can call for martial law. It won't be us. So anybody under the sound of my voice, remain calm. Don't go out there. He's doing this on purpose, but he won't be able to use us to continue to pillage and what he and Musk are doing. We won't give you that honor to get out on these streets. When we take it to the streets, we're going to be taking it as in a joyful way. So, Deshaun, I'm going to pull up the next comment you made. Yeah, we know that we were just that was what the pissed off bartender was talking about. That he was calling. He wanted to Trump derangement syndrome. He wanted to classify it as an official mental illness, and his ass is down there trying to get some trim from a child. Oh, but they care about the children. Oh, yes. We care about a trans person going into the ladies' room. Oh, yes. We are so worried about the children. And yet, every time we hear about a predator, it's from their party. Let's go on to the next comment. Yes, in Georgia, there were two teachers who were having relationships with underage boys who were big Trump supporters, who showed up in their red T-shirts and their red hats talking about making America great again. Is that what making America great again looks like? We just spoke about Morris, the evangelical pastor, who's a quote advisor to the adjudicated rapist that sits and shits on himself in the chair in the White House. And for the women who are now out, who are talking out of both sides of their mouths, one in particular, I won't call her name, but she's a popular YouTube content creator, and a lot of her stuff was kind of funny to me because she was doing celebrity news and whatnot, but then she dipped her toe into politics and she voted for an adjudicated rapist while talking about being out here fighting for women and warning them about predators and warning them and talking about them being mindful to protect themselves. And yet you voted for a man who was convicted of RAPE because you hated what was going on in your city and you wanted him to deport all of the illegal immigrants. What you weren't looking at was Abbott in Texas and DeSantis in Florida essentially kidnapping immigrants that were coming across the border, whether they were coming across through legal channels or just coming across. Well, if you come here and you're undocumented, you've already committed a crime. Let's just make that very clear. But they were putting people on buses and sending them to New York and sending them to Martha's Vineyard, sending them to places that they call sanctuary states. And at one point, Abbott even sent a busload of people to D.C. in front of the vice president's residence. And now, for those of you white-aligned immigrants who came to this country and you were claiming you were taught to hate Black people, you come to this country You voted against your own interests, thinking, oh, he's not going to deport me. He's only going to go after the bad guys. Don't you understand that any of you that are not white, that don't look like white people, you were only a vote. And now you're crying about this. These are legal actions of this man putting people on planes, some of them legally here, and sending them to countries they have never been to, that they know nothing about. It would be different if they were doing any of these things in a thoughtful manner. But he and a ketamine-addicted fucking Nazi, an Afrikaner, are coming in and taking, and he think it's cute when he was at CPAC to raise up a chainsaw. Well, if we got the Tesla chainsaw massacre now, baby, because you are losing billions by the minute. And now you go on to Sean Hannity and every time they always run to Fox. And he's whining about, he's thought that the left, that the Democrats were the party of compassion and the party of understanding, and rah, cry me a fucking river. What made you think you could ruin other people's lives and it would never come after your ass? And, just a little information, you dumbass. It was liberals who were buying those fucking tin can cars because they were concerned and are concerned about the environment. Yo, right-wing children want big fucking trucks. They want a Dodge Ram. Or they want big shit. They're gas guzzling machine. They're not buying Teslas, okay? And those ugly-ass, dangerous-ass cyber trucks, for which you have gotten a $400 million contract to build armored cyber trucks. Oh, yeah, you need money now because Tesla is going to continue to go down worldwide. And guess who don't give a shit? The very people that you are calling out. They're not the ones that you're accusing of setting trucks on fire and setting cars on fire and smashing those charging stations and going to dealerships and yeah, it's not Democrats doing that. You have absolutely no proof that they're doing that, but it's convenient for you to go on and whine about what's happening to you. And Sean Hannity and the dumbass, your sidekick, because he's nothing more than a sidekick, standing up talking about how much he loves a Tesla, selling cars on federal property, doing lawless shit. Because they care more about your billions than they do about the lives that you have ruined. And were it not for federal judges who are blocking your way and are fighting you, and then your stupid ass, look, Nazi, you don't know nothing about democracy. You going around giving the Nazi salute, trying to tell us it's something else. It's a Roman salute. Ain't nobody talking about no fucking Romans, okay? We know what we saw. We know what you have been doing. You and Peter Thiel, by infusing millions of dollars in the campaigns of any MAGA candidate. Thank God that all of them have been losers. And we plan to take the Senate and the House in 2026. Because your plan with Thiel, when you created PayPal, was to take over this government somehow. And now you're doing it through politics. You don't like women. They're nothing more than sperm receptacles. You send a sack of sperm to dumbass women who want to have babies with you. So now you have 14 children, one of which is with you, and you're not fooling anybody. That poor baby has become your human shield because you claim that you've had assassination attempts. Boy, shut the fuck up. You don't know how. And if something like that should happen, it's going to be from the right. Speaking of the right, y'all voted for hate. You wanted to punish people. You wanted to get those nasty immigrants out of your country. A land that was built by immigrants, mostly my people. We weren't willing to come here. Don't give me that bullshit about, oh, your own people were selling you. What the fuck? We ain't talking about that. Because it didn't roll down like that. But if it makes you and all your whiteness feel better to say that more of these slavers got their slaves from other tribes, go ahead. Because all you doing revisionist history anyway. It's important to you to make you look as if you are a superior race, when in fact there's nothing superior about you. As our Black History Moment showed, everyday shit, even your air conditioning, your heating, your light bulbs, your electricity, your dry cleaning, all of those things came from patents from brilliant Black folks. Because you know what? How brilliant is it of a people who were snatched up, separated from family and tribes, chained to come here together to be your workhorses. Oh yeah, and you even got men from Kenya to give birth to babies because you needed a strong workforce. How brilliant is it that we have assimilated, that we don't speak our native tongue, we learned yours, that we began to be educated in your universities, and that when you didn't want us to do that, we created HBCUs that are turning out brilliant Black men and women. How wonderful is it that we learned your laws? And what do? We learn them so fucking good we can turn it on y'all's asses. The people that voted for you thinking that you were gonna just run roughshod and send anybody that isn't a white person out of this country in their self-loathing ways, voted for because they are racist. White people have been othering others, othering people for decades. And Black was always at the bottom of the list. We were the missing link between man and ape, without any scientific evidence. There were even scientists who were trying to inject Black African women with monkey sperm. You voted for fucking cruelty. And now we have a story of two young boys. I'm going to pull that story up. Just give me a minute. On their way to Boston and didn't make it because they were effectively lynched in Georgia. Hold on. I'm going to share my screen with the story. Hold on. Whoop. Let me get my shit together here.
volunteer firefighter arrested, accused of taking a picture of the crime scene showing the bodies of twin brothers who'd been shot to death at the top of a mountain and then sharing those pictures.
That's right. So the hiker found 19-year-old Kydir and Nazir Lewis at Bell Mountain in Towns County on March 8th. This is 90 miles from their home in Lawrenceville. The GBI initially labeled the shooting as a murder-suicide. However, the family believes something more sinister happened to the twins.
11 Alive's Cody Alcorn first reported the family's concerns on Friday. He spoke with them again tonight following the arrest of this firefighter. Cody's live for us tonight in the newsroom. And Cody, the family is reacting to what's really disturbing development.
That's right, Jennifer and Ron. Obviously, they are disgusted by all of this. Now, we don't know just how many people shared this horrific picture of the twins' dead bodies. But tonight I confirmed with the Towns County schools, the picture had been shared among students.
Oh my goodness. It's scary. I'm like literally scared to actually go on social media. I'm scared to pick up my phone. I'm like, because if I see that picture, I already know that I might have a heart attack.
Imagine if their mother see that, like that would really destroy her. She's already going through a lot.
This is how the family of Kydir and Nazir Lewis want to remember the twins. However, now worried knowing crime scene photos showing the 19-year-old's bodies with a gunshot wound have been shared outside of law enforcement.
It's very disrespectful to this family. I feel like our privacy was invaded.
The volunteer firefighter accused of taking the picture charged and arrested. As for how the twins ended up on Bell Mountain on March 8th, their aunt and uncle can't make sense of it. The twins missed their flight to Boston on Friday morning, March 7th.
Then next thing you know, we hear the news about them found in the mountains. And we're still confused. I'm like, what? The twins? Mountains? This doesn't make sense.
We didn't believe that was even them.
And then Bell Mountains, I'm like, no one even, we never even heard of before. And I know the twins never been there before. They never heard of before. I'm like, that was super strange. Yes. Like, that doesn't make sense.
The GBI initially calling the case a possible murder-suicide. The family adamant that can't be the case.
Doesn't make any sense. This absolutely just like out of character.
Yes.
Their bodies found 90 miles from their home in Lawrenceville.
They don't even like driving the distance.
They don't.
Because they don't do.
Yeah, because they don't like to pay for gas.
Described as extremely protective of one another.
Every time you see them, they're like together all the time. All the time.
And there's probably nothing in your head you could imagine that got between them that would lead to a murder-suicide.
No.
If they had a problem that severe, we would know. The family
Definitely.
would know.
The Towns County volunteer firefighter accused of taking the picture, Scott Curlin, was charged with misdemeanor obstruction. Tonight, the attorney for Towns County told me there are no cameras at Bell Mountain. He said the area is not staffed. Now, the gate to Bell Mountain opens at 8 a.m. and closes at sundown. The twins' family says the twins' car was found inside the gates in the parking lot. Their phones, wallet, and plane tickets for that Boston trip were inside the car.
All right, Cody, a lot of folks very concerned and touched by the story, waiting for updates. So thank you so much for bringing us this latest information.
I just heard about this story, Deshaun, because I spoke with a friend of mine from I just called a friend of mine in Georgia, and she was crying about these stories. She has a grandson, and I'm sure all of you who have Black boys, Black young men, your husbands, your nephews, your children are now extremely protective of them, because in Project 2025 and out of the mouth of the convicted felon, he said he would give policemen qualified immunity, so that even though what we saw was what we saw Derek Chauvin do to George Floyd, it can happen again. And if it goes to court, the families may have no recourse. Who would do such a thing to those? Of course, it has to be a murder. It can't be murder-suicide. No one would want to say that they were lynched. But I would bet as we follow this story, we're going to find out what actually happened to them, how they ended up on Bell Mountain. Hell, I live in Roswell, and there are areas and towns in north up, going further north to those Tennessee state lines and all that I've never heard of Bell Mountain. And just as this family said, they've never heard, and they know that their children don't want to hike. How must this family be feeling? But remember, we're going to find out, and we're going to find out that they were lynched. The world, this country, the unqualified, incompetent people heading all these departments, along with Doge, Mr. Big Balls, and now the ketamine-addicted Nazi calling himself Harry Balls, because, you know, he thinks he's a comedian. Going in and just telling people they have to leave. You're fired. If you don't answer this email, you're out. Oh, because we're going to replace you with AI. Yeah, right. And now there's talk of what could possibly happen with Social Security, Medicare, Medicaid. Was it $880 million that will be taken out of Medicaid and Medicare? You think you don't have a fight? You think people have protested? You fuck around with Social Security, and you're going to find out a lot of your constituents depend on it, you dummies. And the red states are always screaming about the blue states. You need to know that were it not for the taxes that the state of California pays and the state of New York pays and Illinois and all the what you call the blue sanctuary states, if they decided not to pay taxes to the federal government, y'all's asses would be hungry. And it looks like you might be hungry any fucking way. With EBT, with your health care for your children. But oh no, you voted for him. Your hate, your racism caused you to vote for this clown. And now it's coming back to bite you in the ass. It's coming back and it's hurting you. Hold on. Oh, I got a big old orb behind me. The Holy Spirit is certainly present. Thank you. I need the light. I want you all to take care of yourselves and your families. Going back to our Black History moment, which gave us a lot of information, I need to take notes. I want to talk about the Coonarians and the Coons on Parade when the convicted felon invited the Black people, the ones he often used the N-word for, to the White House. And who shows up and who's black for a day? Tiger Woods. He's decided he's going to be black for a day. And he looked fucking uncomfortable because he probably hasn't been surrounded by that many black people ever. But he showed up and confessed his love. It's interesting because he's now quietly dating Don Jr.'s ex-wife, Vanessa. Don Jr.'s leftovers. Very interesting to me. Tiger has a type, and she's never black. And I think his wife was blonde. But he was black for a day. Yay. We heard about what's happening at Arlington Cemetery. We even heard what was going on during Black History Month. They were erasing and didn't want to acknowledge the Tuskegee Airmen are all of the honorable men and women who fought in the wars in this country and came back to these United States of America treated like dogs. And his ass, punk ass, didn't even enlist because he's got what, bone spurs? He's a fucking bonehead, liquefied brain. His head sloshes. And his smooth brain cult followers, I don't care what color you are, y'all voted for hate. You voted for racism. You voted for the cruelty that has now been wrought upon all American citizens. You were nothing more than a vote. I often wondered, because I am in LA and my cousin works at USC and she participated in the protests with the students there. And I wondered to myself, the protesters are coming to all the Democrats and protesting. Why are none of you protesting at the KKK Klan, the meetings that the convicted felon is holding, his rallies? Y'all didn't go there and protest. And I do believe it's because you might not, those folks there, they would have let you know you're not one of us. And there might have been some bloodshed. And you still aren't protesting him. You still, I haven't heard a story yet where you are out in the streets protesting against him and his administration. He doesn't care about you. He only wants the land so that he can erect a monument for himself because he's a weak ass man. He's a coward. Christy Teigen called him a pussy ass bitch. He's not strong. Oh, but he talks a big game. But if he didn't have all his enablers around him and it was a one-on-one situation, he'd curl up and shit his pants and cry like a fucking baby. BLM Plaza has been destroyed. DC Mayor Bowser had to bend the knee because it would have affected funding for DC. Hold on for one moment. Yeah, I'm back. I still have the light, but it's not it's not so strong. So she had to bend the knee. And now BLM Plaza is no more. Because when they are the right are constantly talking about the protests after the MURDER of George Floyd. They're comparing whatever destruction happened in a real riot to the insurrectionists who shat and pissed all over the walls and the floors in those hallowed halls in Congress, who went there prepared, set up a gallows prepared to hang Mike Pence, chanting hang Mike Pence, beating down police officers. Officers died. But yet we can't, we have to be humble. We have to be, massa. We's happy. We's happy niggas. Thank you for letting us live on this precious white land. We have to keep it down for your comfort. I don't give a shit about your comfort because you don't give a shit about mine. I don't care that your child might be uncomfortable because when we teach, when the descendants of slaves talk about slavery, when we go and get our records and out of the mouths of the slaves themselves, I actually have slave narratives of the white folks with my last name, Harnage, which is prominent in Georgia and Florida. They have a family reunion, I think it's in April, usually down in one of the where one of the ladies lives. I forget the location. And all are welcome. But we have to calm it down. I remember after one of the hurricanes that came through Florida, and there was a meeting of some Black local politicians and the Black people there, and DeSantis showed up. That's when he was running for the Republican nomination to be president, and Black people were booing him. They were angry with him. What did a sister do? Y'all calm down. If our governor want to come here and bring us gifts, then we're going to be gracious, and we're going to, bitch, he ain't bringing you no fucking gifts. He's coming there to do for you what he should be doing any damn way. But we can't show our anger. There were laws put in place where Black people couldn't gather. There were laws stating that if you had more than 2 or 3 Black people that were just shooting the shit or just talking, you could go to jail. There were the peonage system in the South, where Black men were forced to work after the labor was gone. Black men were forced to work for a white man because he'd accused them of theft or whatever. So that's where we get the picture of Black men in those black and white striped uniforms. They needed somebody to work their land and their businesses, so they held them captive. Every brick in Atlanta was made from the blood, the sweat, the tears of Black men who were just abducted. They couldn't walk along the streets. They could walk along the railroad tracks. And a white man would put a long gun up to their chest and say, Mr. So-and-so said you stole a pig. So you had to go with them. And it was called a peonage system. And when check out Slavery by Another Name. There's a PBS documentary, and there's also a book. I forgive me, but I forget the author of the book, but it is called Slavery by Another Name, and it explains in depth the peonage system that was active in the South. Oh, but we can't show anger. No, can't do that. Let's talk a little bit about Homeboy, about Miss Department of Greed and Evil, as Dr. Lena Rodriguez calls him. Let's talk about that. Now the leader who's trying to claim that he doesn't head up this made up department, that some lady that nobody fucking know is really the founder and head of Doge. It's a lie. The convicted felon said it out of his mouth. He's made comments about how he was thinking he wasn't going to be president, but they rigged the election, and here I am confessing. In Georgia, in southern and northern states, they were gerrymandering so much that the voter suppression was in your face. Oh, I remember when the presidential election, when Joe Biden was coming in 2020, I remember that election and how black people were showing up at their polling stations and they hadn't plugged in the machines or making some excuse thinking that those people were going to leave. I got there at about 3 p.m. and I didn't leave until midnight, determined to cast my vote. Now I'm questioning whether or not my vote was counted as a Democrat, because on my voter page for the state of Georgia, it doesn't say. It won't. It just says that I got the message saying that my ballot had been accepted. But in the area that would indicate the party, it says it's silent. There's nothing there. And Georgia was doing tricks with the vigilantes who were challenging a person's vote. Thousands of people's votes were challenged by folks that didn't even fucking know them. Check out Vigilante Inc. And he lies about it being a grant. No, you didn't. And Musk is behind it all. I'll stand on that. You'll never convince me, especially when he says, oh, he's a real good computer guy. He knows about those computers, especially those vote counting machines. The confession. And now he's robbing us so that he can give tax cuts to Bezos and the Google people and the TikTok man and homeboy from Facebook. What's it? That boy, Mr. Facebook, who looks like he's AI his damn self. Mark Zuckerberg, coward. In the last election, he threatened to jail Zuckerberg. Because, anytime you talk about something and you are critical of him, it's illegal. Nigga, we got First Amendment rights, the ones that y'all scream about all the time. You still fucking talking. Nobody shut y'all up. Someone needs to put a sock in Trader Green's mouth. Word is that her breath smells like a donkey's ass after he's taking a shit. Bleach blonde, bad built, butch body. Thank you, Jasmine Crockett. And Hakeem Jeffries, I'm speaking to you. You better let her, Maxwell Frost, Summer Lee, Ayanna Presley, AOC, all of them are locked, and all the ones that Dan Goldberg, Moskowitz, you got to watch a little bit. And we don't know what's on Fetterman's mind. He don't know what's on his fucking mind. But he seems to be going to the right. Electra, you say you call him Zuckerberg. I love it. I can't. I just don't imagine that he has ooh, Lord. He's letting his natural hair grow out, trying to look cool and shit. I just read a story about Bezos getting ready to marry his blow-up doll, and it's going to be the wedding of the century. And yet they don't want to pay taxes. They want us to pay taxes. But the billionaires, the ones that can afford to pay their taxes and should pay their taxes, no, we don't want to pay taxes. And Musk's wealth, his wealth is predicated on our tax dollars. I think he should have his citizenship revoked. that all of his contracts and subsidies he's getting from the government should be revoked. His citizenship should be revoked, and his ass should be deported and barred from putting his foot on American soil as long as he lives. His daddy is a real piece of work. He leaves Cruella de Vil and marries a woman and ends up with his stepdaughter having babies with her. What kind of shit is that? That's some white folk shit right there. He thinks that any woman with a brain should want to have a baby with him. Why? He doesn't see them. He doesn't want to pay child support. And the little boy that he's carrying around with him is this human shield. That mother, Grimes, is her last name. She's trying to she can't get him to pay attention to a sick baby, but he's walking around with this little boy on his shoulder, repeating what his daddy is telling him. You're not the real president. You should just leave. I want you to shut your fucking mouth. The baby was just repeating what he's been told. Let's talk about RFK. Measles is back, y'all. He thinks measles can be cured by taking vitamin A. That the child that just recently transitioned wasn't healthy. What? You're not a doctor. You've confessed to eating fucking game meat that gave you a worm in the brain, and you call yourself an ex-heroin addict. Any recovering addict I know is taking something else, and you are not the exception. You are hoe. You told Kamala if she would give you a position over the health of this nation, that he would bring the people that were going to vote for him over to her. You sold your soul to the devil. And now children and adults are not going to be healthy. Measles is back. One person can infect 18 people. So that people who don't want to vaccinate their children, and Trader Green with her dumb ass, and that her boyfriend's face, it looks like somebody is continually punched him. It's probably her breath. He might be allergic to her fucking breath or the smell of her mugu gai pan. His face looks swollen like he's having a continuous allergic reaction. Suggests we should have a measles party. Yeah, bitch, let's have one, and you and he should show up, and you should get them. Because I understand childhood diseases, when they get in an adult body, ain't nice at all. And all these stupid, they just get that nigga a piece of paper and a crayon and tell him to sign here. He don't know what half the shit he's signing because he can't read. When Prime Minister Keir Starmer came with a letter from the king, he gave it to him for him to open it and read. He can't fucking read. He took the letter and handed it back to Starmer thinking he was going to read it. Can't fucking read. You're going to set up a sovereign wealth fund. How's that going to benefit the people? It's not being set up to benefit the people. So you don't trust AOC? I think she's got a lot of fire. I'm not saying that Democrats are perfect, not by any means. For any MAGA black person that tells me the Democrats haven't done anything for us, you're a lying ass, and you can't never tell me what a Republican has done for black folks. Abraham Lincoln did not free no fucking slaves. He didn't do it because he was a benevolent ass man. Out of his own mouth, he said he didn't think that a black man could ever rise in intellect to a white man. No, motherfucker. Not only did we rise to your level, we have far exceeded it. And that's what's pissing you off. Because we're all taught as Black children that we have to be the best. We have to be better than our white peers. And we are. So tell me, Electra, you say she talks a good game, but she wants to replace the dim base, us Black folks, with people who are not Democrats. The whites don't want us Blacks to be leaders. The white folks are turned to taking a big eraser, trying to erase our stone existence the same way they have erased it in the white man's version of the Bible with white Jesus. We're going to have a long conversation about the evangelicals, baby. And that lying-ass Paula White, who has got an office in the White House and now is on, she's on YouTube telling people that they need to send her $444 according to some scripture she pulled up out of Esther or somewhere, pulled it out of her ass, so that God's favor will shine on you. And if you don't send me money, then the favor of God will not be on you. You are a lying hoe. And for everybody thinking that fucking white Jesus is your savior, you have drunk the fucking Kool-Aid. All right, let's get your next comment, Electra. Yeah. Well, I have to do some things. I have to do some more studying because I know she's a progressive. And those are the Democrats, the young ones that come locked and loaded and understand the fight that we're in and coming ready to fight, that they're somehow wanting to tamp them down. But the people like Chuck Schumer, baby, retire, go home and write a fucking book. Now, in retrospect, I kind of understand why you did what you did, but I'm still not real happy with you. I haven't been since you turned against President Obama when the Democrats had the House and the Senate, and you ushered in Mitch McConnell with his crooked ass, who now can't even remember where the fuck he is. There were some strikes. The veterans who voted for him, the people he called losers, they voted for him. Now, look at what's happening for veterans. All of their money for their health care. They are honorable men and women who signed up to protect this nation and to protect democracy. And y'all don't even want to take care of them when they come back, burned up, hurt, maimed. Let's go on. Let's see. Well, we know his name is Yeshua, first of all. Jesus is a made-up name, a made-up white man. And in Isaiah, I'm going to get the scripture. He says, he makes a point that you're going to be worshiping a dead man. The name is Yeshua, Yahuwah. He that was, is, and will always be. But that's for a whole nother show because I have some scriptures that I want us to discuss. But back to these evangelicals. There are more pedophiles within the white. Jimmy Swaggart, who was going down with a prostitute. The woman said in an interview that he wanted her to bring her 9-year-old daughter when she came for their next session. What kind of shit is that? Paula White been married 900 times, and the money you send her, she's going to be getting her face fixed and everything else fixed. Now, I ain't mad at her about that because I have a wish list. But to tell somebody that the favor of God will pass you by if you don't send me some money, bitch, get out of here with that noise. The last time you called down spirits from Africa, all you called it was a goddamn hurricane that damn near tore up Florida. Should have tore up your doggone church as well, the one that you managed to steal. You got your start on the backs. You got real popular when you went to TD Jake's church. So you climbed up on the back of black folks who embraced your ass as you're a false prophet. Now, there, while Black History was going on, and what he's doing is suspending the 1890 National Scholars Program. It's a key scholarship for students who attend HBCUs, and it's there's studies in natural resource sciences and related sciences. Taking them, that's gone. He's threatening to take federal funds from HBCUs and return the money to white folks as reparations, like white folks have really suffered. Get the fuck out of here. We separated churches because the Southern Baptist children didn't want black people to worship with them. So we got our own churches. One of the biggest one was the Abyssinian Baptist Church in New York. Abyssinia being Ethiopia, the only nation state that was never colonized. They have a dynamic pastor over there. And while I'm questioning all the things about white Jesus in the King James Version of the Holy Scripture that you stand up and say is the inerrant word of God, stop it. Stop it. It's a slave Bible. And I guess we've even turned that around because we can truly call down the Holy Spirit and the angels and the ancestors and the guides. Black farmers who just got some money under Biden before he left. Now the farmers are screaming. Nebraska has said that, and it said that state is going to go broke. In 6 months? Because they have no one there to pick their crops. It ain't just going to be, it's not just the black farmers, baby. It's hurting the white farmers too. They're crying. One farmer had the nerve to get on social media to ask black folks to come and work in his, boy, bye. Work it yourself. And we're not ever going to use that name again, Deshaun. He is a convicted felon. He is criminal defendant. He is inmate number P01135809. We will not sully this space by calling out his name. Okay, so call him CF45 if you want to. CF45, F40, because he ain't nothing but a criminal. And you are right. The Bible was not, whenever a man touches anything, it becomes polluted. The Ethiopian Bible is the one to study. But no, white Jesus, baby, he ain't your savior. And all of these phony ass Christians with the little c, talking about they bearing the blood-stained banner, baby. They out doing the work of the Lord. Y'all some lying asses. Because if you are walking in the footsteps of Jesus, or as Cash Peters has said, even in the shadow, then you're walking in cruelty. You're walking in divisiveness. Your God is cruel. Your God is a racist. Your God is filled with hate for any of the creation that doesn't look like you. I can't rock with that God. And I would ask you, what fucking God are you serving? What do? Pick up religion on Sunday If you take your devilish ass to church, then drop it on the way out the fucking door, y'all gone with that. He signed what did he sign? An executive order talking about he's going to question all of Biden's pardons. Boy, bye. You pardoned 1,500 convicted. The people that pled guilty, convicted fucking felons. And now they're bold enough to show up at any place where a Republican that spoke against you might be speaking. They're bold enough to show up like somebody's scared of them. They can't even use the name Proud Boys. You know why? Because the church that they defiled during the BLM move, during the insurrection, now owns that name. So they can't even call themselves that. And what the fuck are you proud of? I'm puzzled. What are you proud of? So for all of you that voted for convicted felon who lies every time he opens his mouth, if he's breathing, that motherfucker's lying. His damn hair is a lie. He need to go get his wig tightened. Trying to hang on to those few strands he's got. You voted for hate. You voted for racism. You voted for a man to punish those who don't look like you. But hey, guess what? Eggs didn't go down. Now he's begging other countries to send over some eggs. I hope they don't send them shit. Since you want to turn on our allies, you want to ask Denmark to send us some eggs, and you talking about buying one of their possessions? Boy, bye. I love eggs. I'm paying whatever it costs to get them. And I like jumbo eggs. I like big eggs. And I really, to tell you the truth, haven't seen a big markup of them here. So I don't know what they're talking about, but eggs have, and you know what's going to happen? Since you voted for him to get all the illegal aliens, and Tom Homan, the border czar, that big fucking bully. Guess what? Produce. Every time you walk into a market, you see all the beautiful produce laid out, or you go to the meat counter and everything's all dressed and wrapped. All of those things are going to go up also. Why? Because there's nobody to work. The ones he are calling criminal. Yeah, there might be some. He's a fucking criminal. He's calling everybody else criminals, and they're sick in the head, and they come here and they're bringing their drugs. Well, he ought to know since he snorts enough of them. Did you deport your dealer? Black people, do not be upset if Derek Chauvin should be pardoned and gets out, because he'll be running for his life. We know George Zimmerman has been running around profiting off of his evil for what he did to Trayvon. But he'll meet his maker. And they need to know right now that what they're blaming on the left are their people. They are your far-right, smooth-brained cult followers that are very upset. The veterans did a march on the 14th of this month. If you don't watch Lights On with Jessica Denson, by all means, go over and subscribe to her channel. She has been calling out the 14th Amendment and this illegitimate president. She's been screaming from the high heavens And she was part of the Midas Touch group. I think she might have broken off and started her own thing, but she is part of the Midas Touch network, as I recall. Go support Brian Tyler Cohen. Go support River Wand, who will give you an easy, digestible breakdown of what Thiel and Musk have been attempting to do and what they seem to be succeeding at in funding far-right politicians. Electra, you own you say you taking a vacation from it? Are eggs $10 where you? Yeah, he's trying to put back segregation, but you know what? I ain't even mad at that. We need to support Black businesses. That's what we need to do. You know, we did have Black Wall Street, and it wasn't just in Tulsa. We had thriving Black communities all over this land. And what did white folks do? They got mad. So they had to come and burn it down or drown the people. Because what? We were thriving within our own neighborhoods and within our own communities. And that is what we need to be doing right now, strengthening the Black community, strengthening a Black nation, talking to your grandchildren, your nephews, and to any young person in your life about Black history, having them take notes so that you can instill the pride in them that they should have as a Black person walking in the soil of these United States of America. It's up to us. If you want to segregate us, fine. We support our HBCUs. We support our public schools. We don't want you to bring white people in telling us about slavery, who are probably descendants of slavers. We're telling our own stories because Black history is American history. This nation would not exist were it not for us. And I carry that with fucking pride. And I'm not so adult right now that anybody that voted for him can be my friend. You're not a friend. And for the coons that voted for him, you fucked your own people. You were nothing but a vote while you tap dancing to get approval from white folks. Keep on dancing. Look where it got Byron Donald and Tim Scott. Now Byron Donalds is running for governor in Florida, and Trump is endorsing him. He can forget about it because DeSantis is going to try to stay in power as long as he can, so he put his wife up. Casey. So Byron, good luck, son. Mr. The man that said Jim Crow was good for Black people, you and your zebra children, you and your white wife, gone, boy. I ain't mad because you married a white woman. But you needn't try to pull that bullshit on Black people. It's bullshit. We will not take to the streets. We will not get riled up. You will not use us as an excuse to call out martial law. Let white folks and let all the people that voted for him that are now crying, let them get angry enough to. We're not there. We're absent. We're working on our own stuff. We're minding our own Black business. I'm encouraging y'all to support as many Black businesses as you can. Black products, Black designers, the groceries, wherever they are. Let's support them. Let us build a strong Black nation. Let us make sure our children are armed with the truth about the history of this and the making of this nation. And don't forget to include the natives, the First Nation people. Wait a minute, I'm going to put up your Electra. I'm going to put up this comment, but I seem to have. Let me see. Let's put up your next comment. You stop going to them stores, huh? I can't. It's too hard to find a Walmart here, and Amazon. Yeah, you know, there are other places you can get you can get the same service. Amazon has a chokehold on that market, so it's different. You know, it's difficult to not have to get something from them, but it can be done. And I do support Black businesses. The doctors that I go to are doctors of color. They are also, no, I don't want any white man or woman touching me now. And I'm not saying that all white people are bad or evil, but right now, I'm just giving y'all a side eye. And for the business people who voted for the tax breaks, if we find out that you voted for them, perhaps we won't shop at your stores anymore either, because Target is taking a hit. They out here whining about their stock going down and how us not shopping there has caused to put a big dent in their sales. And I am sorry for the Black vendors who have products in the store. You may have to figure out a way that we can do online shopping, particularly Tabitha, the lady, the vegan lady who has the great spices and stuff. You know, I understand you're a businesswoman and that Target has y'all's products there. We're going to have to work out another way to purchase your stuff, sis. We really are. And you're right. They're pissed we're not protesting. We're going to protest in another way. Our protest means we're going to close ranks and we're going to take care of our community. We're going to build our communities. We're going to invest in our communities and in our young people. We are going to do that. For too long, we have put money in the pockets of these corporations. We are the biggest consumers, the largest group of consumers in this country. We invest billions each year in this economy. Let's do that for ourselves. If the price points are a little higher than normal, shoot, pay it. We can't talk about how we want to have Black businesses and rah, 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 rah. We can't talk about it if we're not supporting them. And it's going to take all of us, every last one of us, all of those in the LGBTQIA community, the people you don't understand, have never met, and don't know a goddamn thing about. It's going to take all of us to do this. We can't start leaving out people because we don't understand their lifestyle and we don't like their. It ain't none of your damn business. They are Black. If they get stopped by a policeman, they're going to see a Black face. Let's take care of each other. Well, I've been on for a minute running my mouth. I feel better. I feel like we can take it to the streets and do it in a silent way. Start, if you can, getting with people, like-minded people who are feeling as if, yeah, we've been through hard times. We know how to get through hard times because we've had hard times in this nation. And no white person can tell me as a Black person how to feel about being a Black American. Your walk is different from mine. You ain't like us. Okay? Let's take care of each other. Let's support each other. Let's start with getting in with our churches and I know there are churches in Florida where DeSantis is really trying to erase Black history. There's churches where educators are going and they're holding, they're teaching in the churches. The church has always been the nucleus of the Black community. That's where we talked about voting, and that's where we talked about the laws. That's where we educated our children. The one thing that we don't like, that I don't like, is the lie about white Jesus. Can't sell me on that one. And I don't mean to offend anyone who follows those teachings, because some of them are very good. They're lovely. I love the Psalms. I love Isaiah. I love Jeremiah. I love the book. But I don't think that it is the inerrant word of God. I don't. I do not. And so as I study the Ethiopian Bible, it's a little, you got to take it in bits. If you get an opportunity, go to Tubi, download Tubi. It's free, and watch Reclaiming the Crown and Reclaiming the Throne. There's a lot of information in there, but it will really, really talk to you about us as being the hope and the dreams, the true children of Abraham. Now, faith is the substance of things hoped for, the evidence of things not seen. We are the evidence of the things hoped for, the evidence of things not seen. Thank you, Jakarta. You bought yourself an Ethiopian Bible. There's a gentleman who was a teacher, and he teaches he teaches from the Ethiopian Bible. Has 88 books. It helps us. It'll help you understand, because the Ethiopians, as they were called, the Abyssinians, they knew about the coming of Yeshua, of the Christ, thousands of years before the Romans and the Greeks invaded and stole what they could steal and take it for themselves, like they, like white folks always do. That's what they do. Like all the lies about who invented what. Eli Whitney invented a cotton gin. No, he didn't. He didn't pick fucking cotton. How would he know about anything like that? It was a slave who gave it to him, but because he was a Black man and couldn't get the patent, we had to learn how great white people are. Yeah. Well, the Russians did, Putin did, to try to get Black folks on side. He did put up all of those Black artifacts, because they have acknowledged the Black Madonna in Russia for years and years and years and years. So you can get a picture of the Black Jesus with the 4C hair. Actually, Flavius Josephus, who was a Jew in the in the court of, I want to say it might have been Pontius Pilate. He was an eyewitness. He has a description of Yeshua, and I wrote it down. You'll find that in Tubi, and I paraphrase. It says, "And when I looked into the eyes of this man, if you could call him that, he described him as being short, not a tall man, slight in figure, with nappy hair and black skin. And that he parted his hair down the center in the way that the Nazarenes wore their hair, and that he had a unibrow, and that there was something special when he looked into the eyes of this man, if I can call him that." So there is an eyewitness to how he looked when he was walking the earth. But of course, we have to believe he was white and he spoke with an Elizabethan accent. Yeah, right. That Charlton Heston is Moses. Yeah, right. Hollywood, baby. So I am putting together my study on the true Jews, the real ones, not the people calling themselves Jews. I do believe in the King James Version, as it is in the Holy Quran, that we must beware the man that calls himself a Jew. But I'm putting all of that together because I want to be precise when I give it to you. So anyway, y'all, it's always fun. Please forgive me for having to take a break. I just had been feeling overwhelmed by everything. That, I mean, there's not a day that goes by that he doesn't do something stupid or hurtful or cruel or racist or hateful that he and the people that voted for him thought was a good idea, but now they're kind of mad. They're kind of mad about it. They're crying about it. But hey, you say you didn't vote for Musk, but it was a package deal, baby. He's got to get a return on his investment. That's why everywhere he goes, there goes he. And he just sits and lets him run the show. Because a convicted felon was always only trying to stay out of prison. It wasn't ever about, it was about staying out of prison and breaking more laws and taking a nation that has always been great down the fucking tubes. So the real president is Putin. Both he and Musk are doing the bidding of a tyrant, of a madman. So there you have it. A man that declared bankruptcy, who defrauded on his taxes, who's fooling y'all with these useless crypto coins and all that shit. Y'all keep giving him your money. Buying worthless shit. Yeah. We're going to have a burning bush moment, baby. MAGA is going to have a road to Damascus moment where they're going to see the burning bush, baby. And it's going to be a lefty who has to go to them and pray with them and for them so that the scales fall from their eyes. It's coming. I had hoped it would have happened last year before the election. So don't, do the best you can to get through, because that's all I'm doing. And I admit that I have been, depressed. I didn't want to mention the D word, but yeah, I have just been feeling lost. I've had feelings of hope. I've had to work very hard to get back the joy, or look for the joy and the beauty in each day. I've worked hard on. I have to work harder on that because we are being inundated with nonsense. So in closing, I want you all to be good to yourselves, be patient with yourselves, be good to your husbands or your wives, your children, your family. Be good to each other. Because as I said earlier, it's going to take all of us to build a strong Black nation. We've done it before, and we can do it again by supporting each other and putting aside our petty differences and looking at the bigger picture, the brilliance that we are as a people. Baby, we just too fabulous. All right? So until next Wednesday, have a good time. I know that I'll see you in the chats with Johnny and Becca and Jen Lynn and Hogarth and my lovely, I love Revealing Like Tarot with Marianne and the snarkiness of Dr. Lena Rodriguez. Let's see, who else is there? There are others. There's one lady who does she does long uploads. It's called Celebrity Tarot. She is a great reader, a sister. Yeah, she's good. I enjoy her. And also, I am studying our ways, our African ways that we have been taught are evil. They are not. They are not. Because we knew who the true God was when we hit these shores. And that's why we have risen like cream to the top, because you cannot beat the spirit out of anyone who has ever had an encounter with the Holy Spirit. Just can't do it. So y'all have a good evening. I'm going to go find something to eat and find me a movie to watch. I love you all so much. Electra, Jaconda, Deshaun, know that you go on the prayer list and that I don't have to know what's going on in your life. Just know that I am sending you some love, because I appreciate you. And especially Jaconda, girl, you have been a devoted ride or die since the very beginnings with Petty Party. You have hung in there. And thank you for sending me the videos, because some of them I've already watched, but also there are some of them that I have not. So, thank you for sending them to me. So I'm going to leave you. And again, I'm so happy you joined me this Wednesday. See you next Wednesday. Peace.